Maniacs, welcome back to the channel. Your local bedhead here. So I wanted to do something fun today. I wanted to sit down with you guys and who I'm sure are excited about it, because I actually am excited about it. I'm not a big fan of the MMA. Boxing, fighting, wrestling, I'm not a big fan. I haven't really sat down and watched it though, so I can't really tell you if I'm really a fan or not because I just haven't delved into that stuff. But today, my interests, and for a while now, my interests have been piqued with this Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. I like everybody else, I just thought, this could be a very entertaining thing, could be really fun, and of course, like a lot of people, I just want to see Jake Paul get the fuck knocked out of him. Why do I want to see Jake Paul get the F knocked out of him? There's so many reasons why. I mean, the Paul brothers themselves, I've never thought they were classy, good people. They just come off like they are so arrogant, scummy. I mean, specifically Logan Paul. I mean, there's just so many reasons. And I know Jake Paul has an actual fan base, so I'm not really trying to piss off the fan base. I just genuinely don't understand what's the love with these brothers. Do you watch them because you just like how aggravating they are? I wanted to go ahead and watch some videos around the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight because it's happening tonight. If you don't know, it's actually happening tonight, and you can get on Netflix and get your subscription and watch it. I'm sure a lot of people are. I mean, I'm watching it, I know that, so I thought it'd be fun to watch some stuff, recent stuff. I have a clip, actually. I saw a couple of things from this, but this is the full clip of, apparently there was a moment when Mike Tyson slapped Jake Paul, and supposedly people are saying that it's because Jake Paul stepped on his toes, which I didn't even know. I just saw Mike smack him. So I guess hopefully they'll show us maybe the moment if he steps on his toes or not, because apparently he stepped on his toes. So if you like this type of content and want to see this kind of content continue, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new around here, I might even react to more Mike Tyson and Jake Paul stuff before the end of the day, or this might be just one giant video where I just sit down and watch a bunch of this shit. So I just know it's happening tonight, and I want to watch as much as I can to kind of get a better idea. Support the channel if you want. We're almost to 50,000 subs. It would be amazing if we can hit 50,000 subs. We don't have to hit it, but my main goal is 100,000. And fun fact, if everybody who is not subscribed, who continuously watches my channels, actually hit that subscribe button, we'd probably be over 100,000. So if you are like holding yourself back from even just pressing that button, do me a solid favor. Let's see the channel blow up, and maybe I'll do something special if it actually happens. Just hit that subscribe button. Do me a solid favor. But we're going to go ahead and dive into this, take a break from the paranormal stuff and anything revolved around that, and just watch some stuff, because this is a reaction channel at the end of the day, somebody who just gives you his honest thoughts and has fun. So here we go with the video. Oh! And one of the things I don't think I can stand about Jake Paul, too, is that he comes into the world of boxing, which, it's a very challenging thing, I assume. Like, there's a lot of people with mad talent who've been training a long time and putting all of this effort and time into doing what they do. And I'm not sure how long Jake Paul has been in boxing. It hasn't been that long. I feel like maybe a couple years now. But automatically, this guy kind of views himself at the top. He thinks he is like one of the best boxers around, and one of the biggest criticisms this guy gets is that he always goes after the older, retired people to box instead of fighting people his own age. It's like the biggest criticism he gets right now when it comes to the world of boxing, because he knows for a fact he only wants to take on people he thinks he has a really good shot at beating, instead of actually challenging himself and actually going after people who are really popular at the time, really big at the time. That's from what I've heard. I don't know if he's actually challenged anybody with a really good status, especially right now in just the modern day world of boxing. But this is what I hear about him, and I can understand why he gets a lot of criticisms and a lot of smack talk, right? Because, no pun intended, by the way, on the smack talk, but I can see why he gets a lot of criticisms if that's really how he's deciding to spend his time as a boxer, and then tries to claim he's the best boxer out there. I can see why that might aggravate a lot of people. And again, that kind of goes with this, what I've said about the Paul brothers, is that they do shit that is so fucking aggravating that would piss off anybody, and they roll with it. And maybe it's a part of a public stunt, I don't know, or maybe they just wanted, or maybe this is just how they think, right? This is how they feel they are, they're entitled, right? They feel entitled, in my opinion, and they feel like they, yeah. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead. Don't get me wrong, I would never want to fucking fight any of these guys. I may be talking a lot of smack about Jake right now. Like I just said, I'm not a big fan of him. I'll try to keep it as professional as calm as I can when I talk about these guys. I have had like moments where I've actually just outbursted of how I feel about him because I just can't stand the Paul brothers. But I would never want to fight this guy because this guy would clearly knock the fuck out of me, easily. I don't got muscles. This shirt is a lot bigger. See, I wear bigger shirts than what I'm actually. But I don't got no muscle, so this guy would knock the fuck out of me any day. I haven't trained like this guy has either, but I actually wanted to do some training, like actual professional training, and really build up a lot of muscle. And I've been going to the gym a lot more lately, so I'm hoping at some point I can maybe show off, take some selfies, flex a little bit. That's the goal by 2025, end of 2025. I want to have a ripped body. Yeah, I have goals, man. What was that face he made? What was that face he made? He really kind of went into a zone right there. Why is he doing that? I gotta listen to that again because I was talking. 227 pounds.
Are you ready for Mike?
I mean, good on him though, man. I mean, that's not an easy feat to hit. You know, gaining all that muscle and shit. That obviously I can see the guy's putting a lot of work to get the physique he has and to become like a boxer. I get it. I respect it. Like, okay, no, he's putting in the work, so I'll respect that.
It is my honor to introduce, fighting out of the red corner tomorrow night. He holds a professional record of 15 victories versus just 6 losses, with 44 of those wins coming by way of knockout and 22 of those knockouts coming within the very first round. Fighting out of Brownsville and the Catskills, New York, ladies and gentlemen, the former lineal heavyweight champion and the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Iron Mike Tyson!
It was good while it lasted for Jake.
And it's good while it lasted for Jake.
Hey, Johnny.
That's a cool ass jacket. Guy is jacked. I can't imagine. Like, Jake Paul's jacked too, obviously. I feel like the force of this guy's punches would hurt a lot more. Like, I just feel like where Jake would probably, obviously lay me out. But if he punched me, I mean, it would hurt like hell. I'd probably fall on the ground and be like, puking my guts up. But like, I feel like if Mike Tyson fucking lays me out in the gut, I'm going to be lifted up off the ground first and then fall on the ground. Like, that's how big this guy is. That's crazy, man. He's jacked. I've seen some of the workout videos where he's really just going at it, and the intensity, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
228.4 pounds for Iron Mike Tyson.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, here's the moment. Damn. Damn. Because, okay, I'm gonna have to look at another clip. I remember he does like a roll. He does a roll in or something. He climbs over there like an animal, and then, yeah, Mike just smacks him. But I get a better look at his face right here, Mike's face. Look at this. Wow. Watch this again. That didn't look scripted. I know a lot of people are saying that looks scripted. His immediate reaction, I know people are going to probably give me shit for that and make fun of me because I've never really... That didn't look scripted to me. That looks like somebody who actually, like, took them a second to realize what they were doing if he did step on his foot. Look at this. Look, right there. That's when he leans up, and that's when all the weight goes down on his foot because he's kind of getting up, right? And then it wasn't even thinking. He just kind of looks pissed off and smacks him, and then he looks down. See?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set. Our main event tomorrow night.
Yeah.
El Gallo Jake Paul versus the returning of Iron Mike Tyson.
Wow. He looked pissed. He just straight up looked pissed. And it looks like he had a singe of, like, pain go through his face a little bit. That was bizarre. Because it was so, like, it was instant. It wasn't like it was built up. It was just like he immediately, like, looked down, and it was just weird. It was a weird, I'm not sure if that's scripted or not, guys. To be honest, if it was scripted, it was pretty well done. Yeah, of course he's going to try to act like, you know, he's some sort of powerhouse because, yeah, he took a small smack. He took a small smack in the face. Which he's building it up. He's building it up. He's trying to make it like, you know, these guys are about to have a big fight and everything. And look, you can get smacked in the face like Jake did and be completely fine, right? But even I could tell, like, he didn't see that coming.
Mike, just a quick word for you, if I may, for the people at home who want to hear from you. Can I get a quick word? Just a sec, all right? Okay, no problem. We'll get a quick word with Mike.
He's too fucking pissed. Look at him, dude. He looks like he's ready just to bolt down there. Looks like he's ready to just run through his guys really quick. Yeah, can I get a quick word? And he's like, yeah, give him a minute. Like, he looks pissed, man. He looks pissed. Obviously, it's a part of a show, obviously, but there are, I feel like, real emotions that do go into it. Especially moments like that to where it could have been just an accident where Jake may have just stepped on his toe. Maybe he underestimated when he, you know, how close he was going to get. Maybe he just stepped on his toe without even realizing because he's in the zone. And then Mike just got pissed off. That easily could have happened.
Here in a moment, making his way over, the legend, the pride of Brownsville. Mike, can I ask? The world is excited to see you one last time, perhaps. Can you just tell us the emotions, the thoughts that are going through your mind right now?
Walking's over.
Why did you push him there?
I mean, that was clearly not a push, but
All right, that's it.
we're done.
For Mike Tyson. He walks away. Jake, he says the talk is over. You just felt his power. What did that feel like, and why did he do that to you?
You can see the red streak going from his ear down his cheek.
I didn't even feel it. He's angry. He's an angry little elf. Mike Tyson, I thought that was a cute slap.
Did he just say that's angry mental health?
Felt his power. What did that feel like, and why did he do that to you?
I didn't even feel it. He's angry. He's an angry little elf.
Oh, he's an angry little elf.
Mike Tyson, I thought that was a cute slap, buddy, but tomorrow you're getting knocked the fuck out. I'm fucking him up, Ariel. I'm fucking him up. He hits like a bitch. It's personal now. It's personal now. He must die. Personal now. Fucking him up. He hits like a bitch. It's personal now. It's personal now. He must die.
Okay. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. That was a little cringy. And I'm gonna say it was a little cringy because if I'm going off of what I know about Jake Paul and how he picks and chooses his opponents, which I'm sure a lot of them do, if he picks and chooses his opponents that are retired, older, and whatnot, I've even seen a post where he even acknowledges that Mike Tyson is old and he's about to kick the shit out of this old man. How does that make you sound like a professional? How does that make you sound like a badass? You know what I'm saying? Like and that's why this came off cringy to me because again, it's a weird thing because he's going up against somebody and I know Mike Tyson's proud of himself and he's a beast and I'm not going to ever like deny that, man. I would never get in a ring with this guy. Even if I was like trained, I'd be scared to get in the ring with this guy. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's obviously a built dude. He can obviously handle himself in a fight, obviously. I can't. So even acknowledging all that, it's crazy to me that he thought this was a good idea. And maybe it was. Maybe there is a side of it that is a good idea. Marketing-wise and getting out there-wise, Jake Paul, one of the most aggravating people on the planet, goes up against a legend like Mike Tyson, right? It makes perfect sense. This would, of course, be big. And it's going to be big because a lot of people are going to be watching it and I'm making a video on it. So, of course, it's going to be big. The overall aspect of this, when you sit back and look at this entire situation, is not really a win-win situation for Jake Paul. In my opinion, it was a bad move on his part because Mike Tyson's beloved. He's so beloved. He's so iconic. And you're going to openly acknowledge that you're going to beat the shit out of an old man. So if you lose against him, it's going to look bad for you either way and people are going to be happy that your mouth was shut finally. Or if you beat the shit out of him, you're going to look like an asshole. Which I guess is already something he's already okay with looking like, but you're going to look like just a big asshole. So what's the point? I'm going to have to look up another clip, though, because I really want to see the feet. That's what I want to see. Can I make this full screen? Please? Yeah, he's stepping on his foot right there. Okay, so he did step on his foot. And then he, okay. See, he moved this foot out of the way first, it looked like. Yeah, he moved that foot. Yeah, see, I don't think that was intentional by Jake. Yeah, that wasn't intentional. That's just where his foot landed. That definitely wasn't intentional. But, I mean, this guy, you can tell how serious he was. I mean, he's been serious these past couple of days.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The way he's been talking about fighting Jake, I've seen some videos. The way he's been talking about fighting Jake has been crazy.
So I can't even fathom losing. I can't even imagine it. He's not going to win. I think he thinks this is going to be a very easy night. It's not going to be an easy night.
I don't think that. I think it's going to be a war of ages.
First of all,
I can't stand that. It's just a fight, man. It's just a fight. Jake, when he talks about this fight, he's talking about it as if like the gods had planned this all. Don't understand that mentality. Maybe he's just trying to build up the hype for the fight, but that's when it comes off a little cringy to me. It's like, all right, calm down a little bit.
no one else can do this but me, I believe. And like you said, this is the greatest boxing match in the history of boxing.
I don't think it's probably the greatest. I think it's probably one of the most talked about, but I'm not sure if it's one of the most greatest. We'll see. Maybe it is. Who knows, right? When the boxing match comes out and we start seeing how they're going to do, maybe it turns out to be really intense, like a Rocky movie or something, right? Maybe it's like, oh my God, this is fucking insane. We'll see. But yeah, it just sounds kind of I mean, for obvious reasons, this fight sounds like it shouldn't work at all. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they think it's going to work so well, because it doesn't sound like it's going to work at all, but you never know, right? You never know. When you get in a ring with somebody, I feel like you just never know what the outcome's going to be, right? That's kind of the thing. You never know. That's kind of the exciting part, though.
And
I can understand the excitement now with boxing and the fighting and stuff. It's like you don't know what's going to happen, and that's kind of the thrill of it. Is kind of exciting. You know, you're rooting for one person, and you just don't know how it's going to end.
it's because I'm a part of it.
On Friday night when I put this man to sleep, so that is pretty dope.
He dreams a lot. A lot of dreams.
I knew it would all come true.
This is not gonna come true, young man.
Hey, man, I respect your opinion, but it's just my time. The universe know it. The gods know it.
God, that is cringy. The universe knows it. The gods know it. Everybody knows it.
I know it, and you're gonna know it. Plain and simple.
Okay, for next week, we'll see.
In the final hours before
We'll
their
see.
highly anticipated fight, Mike Tyson issued a chilling message to Jake Paul, one that has boxing fans everywhere on the edge of their seats. With a focused and menacing tone, Tyson addressed Paul directly in a brief but intense video posted on social media, giving a rare insight into the legendary fighter's mindset.
This fight is not gonna change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good. I can do it. I feel I can beat this guy. Come on.
Standing in his training gym, Tyson looked every bit the fierce competitor he was in his prime. In his message, Tyson said that this isn't a game and it's not for show. He said that when he is in that ring, Jake is going to feel what it's like to be up against someone who's done this his whole life. His voice carried a calm yet intimidating edge, underscoring the seriousness with which he views the upcoming fight.
I don't look at my life as a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the cares about my legacy? I'm gonna be dead soon one day, but he's not gonna win.
What do you say?
Wow. I love that he just said that because I think that's what Jake's all about is legacy. Ego. That is crazy that he just said that because that's exactly how I think the world, ironically, views Jake Paul. He's all about the ego. He's all about how this is going to be the biggest fucking thing of all time. And Mike's just sitting there saying that, you know, I've been doing this my entire life. I'm not doing this because I want to leave a legacy. I'm not doing this for a legacy. I'm not doing this for ego. I'm just doing it because I feel good. I'm a fighter. I like that. I do like that. And I think that's why a lot of people obviously lean towards Mike too, is because he's doing this because he has a passion for it. He's not doing it just to build a name. He's doing it because he's got a name and he wants to fight because he genuinely loves the feel, the thrill. I dig that. I dig that. And I think if you're going to go into boxing, you should enjoy the thrill. You should enjoy what you're doing. And maybe I'm talking out my ass. I don't know. But I just feel like, you know, going into this on a perspective where a lot of people probably already know what they're fucking talking about. I'm just going into this kind of seeing what I'm seeing, right? And what I know from Jake Paul and what I know from Mike Tyson, I know decently okay enough about them both.
About your legacy, if you end up beating Mike Tyson, and not just beating Mike Tyson, knocking Mike Tyson out?
Obviously, it would be the biggest moment in all of boxing history.
This warning shows.
But is it for the best or is it for the better or the worst? Again, you're talking like, I don't want to come, again, I'm not trying to come off disrespectful to Mike Tyson because obviously the guy is a fucking legend. But at the same time, you can't ignore the simple, blunt truth of it. And that is the guy he's up there. Yes, it's going to be big, but is it going to be like, are people going to be excited for you or are they going to be like annoyed by you? That's what I'm curious about. How if he does manage to knock out Mike Tyson, I wonder how everybody's going to react to it. I wonder how I'm going to react to it. I wonder how my parents are going to react to it. You know, Mike Tyson was a part of their time and they appreciate the shit out of the guy, but we'll see.
Tyson's fierce dedication to the sport, and it seems intended to remind Paul and perhaps the fans that stepping into the ring with him isn't just another headline-grabbing event. It's a true boxing match with stakes, intensity, and real danger. In the days leading up to this message, Tyson has been vocal about his motivations for returning to the ring. For him, this isn't about a simple comeback. It's about reclaiming his legacy and proving that his skills and power are ageless. Tyson's message to Paul encapsulates this motivation, hinting that he's coming to the fight with a warrior's mindset, unburdened by fame or financial incentive, but driven by a desire to embody the ferocity that once defined his career.
I've always been in the gym training. I'm in boxing, professional fighters. I'm just, activity is great. I had 15 fights in 1 year when I was younger, and I think activity is great, but I'm prepared. I'm just ready to go.
Tyson's words, though simple, carried the weight of his storied career. He's been training with a no-mercy mentality, and he made it clear that he has no intention of holding back. This statement alone sent a wave of anticipation through the...
And again, with his age, I mean, he probably can't afford to hold back. He's got to go all in, right? He's got to, no matter how bad it could get, he's got to go all in because, you know, again, I feel like shit every time I want to critique him because obviously I don't want to disrespect the guy. I don't think he thinks anybody's trying to disrespect him. I don't think he can also blame people for not being a little concerned, you know? I'm not saying he can't kick the fuck out of most people that walk his way, but, you know, you got to be a little concerned because it's not like I'm going to also ignore the fact that Jake's been training. He's been putting in the work. I'll take acknowledgement of that too. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. This is getting me pumped.
the boxing community, signaling that Tyson's approach to this fight will be as relentless as ever. Tyson's promise to bring the real thing to the ring is a reminder of his ferocious energy in his heyday, and fans are excited to see if he can channel that same tenacity at this stage of his life. Paul, known for his bravado and showmanship, appeared unusually silent in response to Tyson's words. While he's usually quick to counter with a quip or challenge, Tyson's warning seems to have hit differently. Sources close to Paul's camp say he's taking Tyson's message seriously, adding extra intensity to his own final days of training. It's clear that he understands the gravity of stepping into the ring with a legend.
My life has changed since then, and I decided to fight Roy Jones, and that was successful, and now we're fighting.
So people shouldn't even bring that shit up no more?
No, they should bring it up.
Okay.
They should see the difference from there to now.
Gotcha.
Paul's silence is perhaps a reflection of respect, or maybe a recognition that Tyson, even at 58, brings a level of skill and power that can't be ignored. For the first time in the lead up to the fight,
He's right. You can't ignore the fact that if you've seen those training videos, you can't ignore the fact that the guy looks like a beast still. I'd be shit. If that guy came at me, ducking and weaving and stuff, and he's walking toward, I'm going to shit my pants straight up.
Paul's camp has remained uncharacteristically reserved, leaving fans wondering how this message has truly affected the young fighter's mindset. The message also drew reactions from boxing legends and analysts, with many noting that Tyson's statement harkens back to the fighter who dominated the heavyweight division in the 1980s and 90s. When Mike says something like that, he means it. There's no one like him, and you can see in his eyes that he's ready.
It's a possibility, yeah. It's kind of fun. I guess only thing that's pretty tricky is getting in shape.
Yeah, you start getting older, that thing.
No, just like when I was 20, it's hard. Me training, I go all out. I train you train all day. It starts when? The boxing starts from what? 11, and then we might be done by 5. And then I'm gonna do strength and conditioning, guys. Then I'm gonna do the weights, and then I'm gonna do boxing and sparring.
In a recent interview, Carl Froch claimed that Tyson is too old to be in the ring. Jake was also attacked by former middleweight world boxing champion Froch, who called the YouTuber turned boxer that much of a bitch, and said that he irritates people by fighting against opponents far lighter than him so far. He was also asked about his remarks on Paul's wish for Tyson's match to stay on his professional record. Froch said, "That's just to create more of a stir. That's just to piss more people off. My only beef with Jake Paul is that he can't really fight. He's not a professional boxer. He's not even in shape. He looks fleshy. He's got a layer over him. He doesn't look chiseled, and I don't know if he takes the training seriously." Froch further added, "When Paul has got a 2 or 3 stone weight advantage on these guys he's fought so far, it's a mismatch, it's unfair. He's got an unfair advantage when he fights. He's that much of a He makes it so he's so much heavier than his opponent. He's got such an advantage." Tyson has competed at 220 pounds in the heavyweight division, which has no weight restrictions, while Paul has typically fought around 200 pounds in the cruiserweight class. Before the fight was rescheduled, Paul reportedly mentioned plans to bulk up to 240 pounds before shedding some weight for the match.
And he's now 227, I think is what they said.
The 58-year-old former undisputed champion, speaking to the crowd after his last professional fight in 2005, revealed that he had lost the drive and ferocity that once defined him in the ring. George Foreman, a man who retired from boxing a decade ago only to return and claim a world title at 45, knows a thing or two about making comebacks. When NY Fights suggested to Big George that Tyson should still be capable of dropping and stopping Paul, even at his current age, his reply was clear and insightful. He said, "Jake Paul is no pushover, and he is not afraid of any of these guys. Time is on his side. So happy for Mike Tyson. He needed this excitement in his life."
I don't know if I would say that he's not afraid. I think the guy has openly acknowledged that he, of course, is nervous about going up against Mike Tyson. But I don't think, I do think that, fear is definitely in there, for sure. Because I think anybody would be a little bit nervous to get in a ring with Mike Tyson, right? Again, you can't ignore the fact that the guy hasn't been nearly doing it as long as Mike Tyson has. So, I mean, he's got like that advantage. He's got the skill advantage, the time that he's put into it, right? Gosh, I'm getting pumped now.
Everyone is talking about it. Answer to your question, no. In a different piece with USA Today.
But it's kind of cool that he actually, acknowledges Jake as a guy he's been putting in the work. Because that's kind of how I felt. I understand that one guy was saying that he's a bitch and everything. He's not even in shape. But the guy is, in my opinion, he's in shape. I mean, the guy he's bulked up. I would not want to take a full-on fucking punch to the face by him by any means. Like, he looks like he could throw a punch. I can't deny that from him. I mean, seriously.
Foreman continued to praise the younger fighter while cautioning Tyson. He mentioned, be careful with Paul, only because Paul has tricks. Tyson gets hit with one punch at his age, you start to hear funny noises. Ha ha ha. Tyson and Paul will fight over 8 2-minute rounds while donning 16-ounce gloves, a first for the sport. At the same time, Mike Tyson has been advised to reconsider his participation in the upcoming fight due to concerns about his health. This warning comes from Anthony Taylor, who once faced Tommy Fury and has been a sparring partner to Paul throughout his 5-year boxing career. At 58, the iconic heavyweight champion is preparing for a stunning return to the ring this November, where he will square off against Paul. Yet, the upcoming fight sparks serious health worries. Taylor predicts a one-sided outcome, warning that Paul's power could quickly lead to Tyson suffering a concussion. Taylor told Instant Casino, Mike Tyson needs to take a leaf out of KSI's book and pull out of his fight against Jake Paul. I've worked with Jake behind the scenes, and trust me, you have...
Not really a big fan of KSI much either anymore. The things that he's been saying on Twitter, I'm not really a big fan of him either. I used to be. I actually still kind of like KSI, but lately, no.
Haven't seen what he's capable of. Tyson is a lamb to a slaughter. I worry about a concussive ending because Jake is a real fighter now. Tyson was forced to delay his planned July 20th event because of an ulcer flare-up. While he's not yet back to full training, he's been making occasional trips to the gym, steadily increasing his intensity in preparation for later this year. Meanwhile, Paul, at the height of his physical form, triumphed over Mike Perry, securing his 11th victory. Taylor further added, I've known him for 5 years and he's developed into a real fighter. When Tyson tires, Jake will make Tyson pay. Jake's cardio is next level. Did you ever see Homer Simpson bide his time, soak up a bit of punishment, and then knock over his exhausted opponent? Well, Mike's 58, and he's going to get tired real quick. There's no question that...
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, look, you can make all these assumptions, you can make all these predictions, you can say this, that, and this, but at the end of the day, you're not going to really know until the fight actually is going on, right? So, you can make all those assumptions if you want. Could he have a good point? He could. We'll see. I will say that, yeah, he may have good cardio, but how many of those slugs, if Mike connects with Jake, how many of these slugs is he going to be able to take before his body starts really feeling it? How many, right? You can have all the cardio in the world, but if your body is starting to feel the pain from those hits, I just don't know how many you can take before then. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'd much rather get punched by Jake Paul than Mike Tyson. By far. If you had to, literally, yeah.
Tyson's wealth of experience dwarfs Paul's, especially considering his brutal punching power at the height of his career, which propelled him to the top of boxing as the undisputed champion. Tyson often shared glimpses of his training, giving fans a glimpse of his fearsome strength in short bursts. In contrast, Paul has boldly claimed he'll land the knockout punch, suggesting his own power might be on par with the iconic heavyweights. He mentioned, I know I will be able to. I'm a natural-born heavyweight. This is what I was born to do. Move up into this weight class and show Mike who has more power because he is underestimating me, and I believe I hit harder. Moreover...
But that's the thing. I don't think Mike's going to underestimate him. He even said the first thing he's going to do when he gets into the ring is just he's not going to hold back. So every punch that he throws is going to be like he's going to be throwing his last punch, I'm assuming. So I don't think he's underestimating him. He has said things like, he's going to lose this fight, but that's just kind of what they say to each other. They're going to lose that fight. They're going to lose that. I don't think he's going to underestimate him. I mean... That's just my opinion.
Tom Aspinall has shared his thoughts on Jake Paul, and his take is surprisingly compelling. Following his impressive win over Curtis Blades at UFC 304, the British heavyweight is now targeting John Jones. While he waits for his much-anticipated title shot, Aspinall has turned his attention to Paul, joined by Carl Cobra Froch, who has also expressed a strong interest in the polarizing boxer. As their chat unfolded, the subject of the problem child emerged, with Froch revealing his intrigue about a possible showdown with him. Aspinall said, if you want my honest opinion, I think you are above that. I don't think you should not fight Jake Paul. The UFC interim heavyweight champion comforted Froch by stating that he already had money when he implied that there was a lot of money in it. Froch then said, and I won't want to get punched in the head by anybody who would seriously punch because my health is more important, but I just think Jake Paul is an easy workmate. At this point, Aspinall acknowledged that while Paul could be better than he had thought, he is not good enough to compete against a boxing world champion. He said, in all honesty, he is better than I originally thought, but if you compare him to an actual boxing world champion. Aspinall, on the other hand, expressed serious concerns about Mike Tyson's upcoming match with Jake Paul, perceiving it as a high-stakes challenge. Tyson, who is approaching 60, faces a considerable age difference against the 27-year-old Paul. The former Disney star has made a successful pivot to boxing, winning most of his bouts.
Jake Paul is younger than me? By 1 year? Holy shit.
This transition has created a stir in the combat sports, with notable figures like Tom Aspinall taking notice. Recently, however, Aspinall's view of Paul has evolved, prompting him to doubt whether Paul truly belongs in the boxing ring. It's a notable shift, especially since Aspinall had expressed admiration for Paul just 2 years ago. He said, "I think what he has done for me, I can't help but be impressed by that. Like, I think it's good, and I like the way, might be controversial, but I quite like the way he carries himself. If it's not for me, I wouldn't do that. But he and I are different people, so I like it." On the flip side, he's tapping into the world of boxing, a domain where Paul thrives. For UFC 304, he took an unorthodox approach, waking up at 4 a.m. to align his body with the event's timetable. During a chat on MMA Hour, he shared that his pre-dawn ritual involved shadow boxing among hay bales. To further prepare, he submerged his hands in petrol for 20 minutes, hoping to toughen his knuckles. Mike Perry and Nate Diaz, two seasoned MMA fighters, have recently joined the ranks of Jake Paul's boxing opponents. Last year, Paul faced off against Diaz in the ring, with the Stockton native proving to be one of the toughest adversaries the outspoken American had faced. Despite putting up a strong fight, Diaz ultimately lost, yielding to a unanimous decision in Paul's favor. The problem child next squared off against two professional boxers, Andre August and Ryan Borland, both regarded as heavy underdogs. Yet they both suffered quick defeats, each succumbing to a first-round stoppage. Perry, on the other hand, endured multiple knockdowns before the referee halted the action in the 5th round. Now, the two former UFC fighters have shifted their attention to the upcoming Tyson fight, but their predictions for how it will unfold couldn't be more different. Speaking on Paul's podcast, Perry believes that his former opponent's youth will be the deciding factor on fight night. He said, "I think Jake wins. I think he is younger, and I think he is doing the right things as far as what his team has him doing. It works." Mike Tyson has been cautioned about the potential for a catastrophic result in his upcoming bout with Paul. The much-anticipated showdown between the 58-year-old Tyson and 27-year-old Paul has ignited a storm of debate ever since it was officially revealed. Moreover,
We'll see, man. We'll see. Okay, listening to them talk, I haven't said anything because I'm just kind of listening, kind of learning a little bit what people are saying. We'll see, because I don't know. They make good points about his youth. He's a lot younger, but we'll see.
Diaz strongly believed that the legendary boxing hero will prevail when Inside Fighting asked him to make a prediction.
Nate, what did he give you there? Dog tag? What is that?
That's for soldiers, baby. You already know what's up.
Soldiers, nice. From Charles Rosa, UFC veteran. Hey. Real quick, everyone wants to know your take, man. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, who you got?
No, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson all day? You're the man.
Tyson is gearing up for a long-awaited return to the ring this November. Yet, as the event draws near, the prospects for the boxing icon look increasingly uncertain, with numerous influential voices in the sport voicing doubts about his ability to perform at the highest level. Fitness expert Dave Hancock, known for his successful work with Chelsea, Leeds, and the England national team, has highlighted the potential health risks associated with the upcoming fight from a medical standpoint. Looking from the outside, Mike Tyson's comeback is purely money-driven, he said, speaking to OLBG. He added, "If someone's going to offer you X to do Y, you can make a decision whether to do that or not at any age. So therefore, your incentive is cash. Therefore, you will be prepared to put your body on the line in those circumstances in that sport, because you know the reward is the cash."
But isn't like fucking Mike Tyson already buttload rich anyways? I know that's like the first thing people want to go to is like it's all about the money and whatnot. And there's obviously truth to the money, of course, but I'm pretty sure Mike Tyson, they just announced that he was making like 20 mil. So like that's not a small amount of money. But even then, the guy's like already a millionaire, right? So I don't know if it was necessarily about that. I think he just genuinely wanted to do this because he might have known this was going to be a big event. And I think he does have a passion for the sport. I just don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, the guy's been doing it all his life, right? So I don't know. I get where they're coming from and I get that mindset and I do understand. Again, there's truth to that, I think. But I don't think that's everything that's being thrown in here.
Hancock voiced serious worries about the risks of Mike facing off against Jake, especially considering Mike's age. From a medical standpoint, he feared the outcome could be disastrous. Diminished reflexes, slower response times, lower physical endurance, along with potential heart and lung complications, not to mention the impact of lifestyle changes, could all contribute to significant health dangers. He said, "But at the end of the day, money talks," going back to the same scenarios about footballers going on end-of-season trips and preseason trips. It's because there are huge amounts amounts of money involved. It's no different for an individual athlete that could get a payday for a one-off bout with a YouTuber. Paul stepped in for Tyson, who had pulled out of the fight, and faced Mike Perry, the reigning bare-knuckle boxing champion, whom he promptly knocked out. Following the victory, Paul reached out to Tyson, urging him to sign the contract for their November showdown. He added, "Mike, I love you, but this is my sport. You're a legend. You're one of the two most famous boxers ever to live, you and Ali. It's an honor to get in the ring with you. I'm so honored. You're a legend, but I'm going to take your throne, brother." Despite being 31 years younger than—
And I think that's what aggravates people, is that people are so aggravated that a YouTuber has come into the sport, which is a very different thing, has come into the sport and automatically feels like he is going to be at the top of the game. He is going to be the face of boxing. Like that, I can understand pissing off a lot of the big fans of the MMA and stuff. I can see why that might annoy a lot of people. Yeah, I'm going to take your throne, brother. It's like,
boxing legend Mike Tyson. Jake Paul's upcoming autumn showdown with the iconic fighter doesn't faze Tyson. "I don't think he can hurt me," Tyson stated confidently. Although friends and family have urged Tyson—
I'm not sure if he hurt you when he stepped on your foot, but he might have just got pissed off. I don't know. But it kind of looked like he had a little bit of pain in his face when he got stepped on like
the
that.
potential dangers of facing Paul. He
Hopefully
remains
not.
unwavering in his belief that there's no question about the outcome. "I'm a glory junkie. I love people thinking about me all day," Tyson told the outlet in an interview that took place just days before he suffered a medical emergency on a flight. He added, "I'd rather live a short life of glory than a long life of obscurity. It's just who I am. This is all I started fighting for, to get all this status. I'm going to be chasing it for the rest of my life. I know that. I'm never going to get what I want because I'm one of those gluttons for pain. I can never get enough." Meanwhile, Joe Rogan has expressed concerns about the potential danger to Mike Tyson during his heated matchup with Jake Paul. The stark age difference between the fighters sparked an uproar among boxing fans the moment the fight was revealed. Tyson, who will be 31 years older than Paul when they step into the ring, prompted Rogan to raise alarms about the risks involved, especially before the bout was officially confirmed as a professional fight.
I mean, they were trying to do it at AT&T Stadium.
Listen,
like, that's crazy.
If Tyson dies, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, if you have something like that, if you have, look, if
That'd
this,
be the end of the.
right.
Yeah, that'd be the
Let's-
experiment.
Let's imagine it in a different way, right? Let's not imagine that.
I think Jake would be done. If this accidentally actually puts Mike Tyson in the hospital and he actually let's say gets some sort of so serious injury that he dies, I don't think anybody's going to want to see Jake Paul again. I think that would literally be it for his career. People are already sitting here warning him, saying you should stop going after older people. And if this happens, I don't see him coming back. I just can't. I mentally, I just don't, because people would hate him so much at that point.
Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paul. Let's imagine Mike Tyson is fighting some young, really powerful knockout artist who's a contender. Well, guess what? Jake Paul could be that guy if we didn't think of him as Jake Paul. If you look at the people he knocks dead, when he knocked dead Tyron Woodley with one punch, that dude could in crack.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so that's what I'm saying, exactly what you're saying. We don't want to give him credit because it's Jake Paul.
Exactly.
But we gotta wake up and realize that he's still 27, young.
Despite his
There's no rocket science behind it. Anybody can throw a first punch and knock someone out, depending on what's going through their mind and how much power they put into it. I mean, you can knock someone out by accident. I mean, seriously. So that's no surprise. Even if you're one of the most powerfulest guys, you could be, I don't know, a Marine, right? It could be a Marine. And if someone gets the right crack on your face and they just fucking full on swing and knocks you out, that could happen. It could happen. So it just depends. It just depends on the situation, I guess.
Serious worries about Tyson's health, Rogan isn't ruling out the possibility of Iron Mike defying the odds and utterly overwhelming Paul. The UFC commentator speculated that even if Tyson could recover just 70% of his former form, it would still present a formidable challenge for Paul, especially when facing 90% of Tyson's trademark power. Rogan stressed that Tyson's raw strength appeared undiminished, as demonstrated by his forceful bag work. Rogan discussed Tyson's past struggles with debilitating back problems, including intense sciatica, which had forced him to rely on a cane for support. He speculated that the progress in stem cell therapies might have played a role in Tyson's recovery, especially considering he was probably under the care of top specialists. Rogan also noted how impressive it was that Tyson, at 58, could still potentially earn a significant income, provided he maintained his fitness and physical health.
I mean, they were trying to do it at AT&T Stadium.
Listen,
that's crazy.
If Tyson dies, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, if you have something like that, if you have, look, if
that'd
this,
be the end of the.
right.
Yeah, that'd be the experiment.
Let's imagine it in a different way, right? Let's not imagine that Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paul. Let's imagine Mike Tyson is fighting some young, like really powerful knockout artist who's a contender. Well, guess what? Jake Paul could be that guy if we didn't think of him as Jake Paul. If you look at the people he knocks dead, when he knocked dead Tyron Woodley with one punch, that dude was in crack.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so like that's what I'm saying, exactly what you're saying. We don't want to give him credit because it's Jake Paul.
Exactly.
But we gotta wake up and realize that he's still 27, young.
Originally, Tyson and Paul's fight was intended to be an exhibition, with both fighters wearing headgear. However, in an unexpected turn, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation granted approval for the event to be classified as a professional match, albeit with a unique stipulation. It will consist of just 8 rounds, each lasting 2 minutes. In a separate podcast, Joe Rogan shared his thoughts on Mike Tyson's obsessive attention toward Jake Paul, observing that Tyson appears to view Paul as little more than prey. Despite his age, Tyson is preparing for his highly anticipated return to the boxing ring with a bout against Paul later this year. The fight has generated mixed reactions from fans, primarily due to the stark age difference between the two. But the excitement of seeing a
And again, the fact that Jake's aware of it and he keeps acknowledging it and keeps kind of saying that I'm going to beat this old man's ass. It's like, you see the problem in that? You see why that's aggravating when people hear you say something like that? Because to a lot of people, it probably sounds like a guy, a cocky guy, thinking that he can take on an old man and walk away with it and walk away with a heavyweight title, right? And like this popular name. It's not about like actually going into the sport, fighting people your own age and trying to build yourself up that way. No, it's about going after the people who could potentially have health issues, have all this stuff, and have a big disadvantage. And that's a problem. That's a serious issue, and I can understand, and I feel the same way, that it's kind of aggravating when you hear about it.
Fighter once known as the baddest man on the planet make his comeback has stirred widespread intrigue. Amid the buzz surrounding Mike Tyson's comeback, Joe Rogan took a moment to praise Jake Paul. Rogan recognized Jake as a legitimate boxer, countering earlier doubts from critics. He emphasized that if Jake were solely known for his boxing rather than his YouTube fame, and had only made a name for himself by knocking out former UFC champions, beating seasoned boxers, and dominating athletes and MMA fighters, people would undoubtedly acknowledge his true fighting prowess.
People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight. He knows how to fight. Like, nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good.
I agree. I know people are going to lose their minds. Jake can't fight. He's a joke of a fighter. It's like, I think it's all about how he goes about it. That's why people are so just done with him. The way he goes about it, the fact that he was a YouTuber and he just jumps into the sport and starts thinking that should be at the top of it when people have been watching people who started out doing it, regaining their titles and people wanting them to be champions. And this YouTuber who wasn't even a boxer to begin with comes into it saying, this is my life. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the face of, it's like, calm down. You haven't been as long as these guys have. Stop acting like you're the best. And I think that's what people really are just done with, and maybe if he was more humble. He doesn't sound humble to me. I don't think he's ever had a humble moment I've seen on camera where he's like, I'm so grateful. I came into this sport. I trained my ass off. I'm getting to where I want to be. I'm mind blown. I'm struck by all the wins I've been getting. And like, I'm so grateful. I've been just training my ass off, and he doesn't sound humble. He sounds like he's just that guy who's just going to do it and get it done because he's that guy. It's not about the humbleness. Maybe he has had moments like that, but I haven't seen those moments.
And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future. He's really something special.
Rogan then shared his thoughts on the sheer terror that Mike Tyson instilled in the ring during his prime. He couldn't fathom how Jake Paul could stand up to Tyson, who had famously destroyed Marvis Frazier with a performance that Rogan described as nothing short of execution. Reflecting on Tyson's peak, Rogan emphasized the unparalleled speed, agility, and precision that made Tyson nearly impossible to hit. According to Rogan, Tyson stands as the greatest heavyweight in history, a standard that, in his view, has yet to be eclipsed by anyone. While acknowledging Tyson's change over the years, Rogan still considered him an imposing figure in the world of boxing.
There's not a chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight because that was Mike Tyson before he won the title. It was ABC Wide World of Sports, and Joe Frazier had been talking shit about Tyson, that he was in his prime, he would beat Tyson, and so he had his son fight Tyson, and it was an execution. It was an execution.
Is that the one?
Joe Rogan later delved into Mike Tyson's comments on Jake Paul, highlighting the former heavyweight champion's extraordinary mindset. Rogan painted Tyson's mentality as one that had transformed into a full-on warrior state. In a previous interview, Tyson revealed he was consuming raw meat to prepare for battle, symbolizing his opponents as mere raw meat. Rogan emphasized Tyson's shift into a god of war and savage mode, suggesting that Jake Paul would likely be petrified when confronted with such a formidable force. Rogan later shared a story about how Mike Tyson unintentionally prompted him to resize the table in his studio. At first, Rogan had chosen a large table for a laid-back vibe, but when Tyson arrived at 300 pounds, relaxed and smoking weed, his sheer presence was so formidable that Rogan decided to downsize the table for a more intimate atmosphere. The next time Tyson came to record, he had transformed, shedding weight and packing on muscle in preparation for his fight with Roy Jones Jr. At 230 pounds, with visibly stronger forearms, Tyson's new, even more commanding presence left an impression that was hard to ignore.
You know, like Mike Tyson's mind has switched over into war. Like he was doing this interview and someone said to him, he goes, you look like you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing? He goes, I just eat raw meat. He's like, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, you're eating raw meat? He goes, yeah, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, because that's what I'm going to eat when I fight. I'm going to eat him. It's raw meat.
Yeah. See,
I was like, Jesus Christ. He's in this mode. He's in that God of War mode. And
That's scary.
He's still got that in him. And I'm telling you, if you keep giving that guy hormones and you keep giving that guy supplements and he's constantly training, here it is. Look at this.
What are you eating? Raw meat. Like, seriously, Mike. You're eating raw meat? Are you swallowing it? Or remember you used to spit that stuff out?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to eat it now because my opponent's gonna be raw meat.
That's right. Do you look like 20 years old?
That's right.
Rogan shared that Tyson's commanding presence was so overwhelming, he felt that sitting too close to him at the podcast table would make him uneasy and impact his ability to perform. To maintain a sense of ease, he explained, the table was deliberately set wide enough to keep a comfortable distance. He also echoed Kevin Hart's analogy, likening being near Tyson to being in a room with a lion. Rogan shared
That's
his
terrifying.
intrigue about the unfolding drama between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, eagerly anticipating how the showdown would play out. He noted that while Jake Paul tends to bring in a crowd with any fight, this particular match against Tyson would likely draw an even bigger viewership. Rogan emphasized the excitement from longtime fans who were hoping to see Tyson give it his all. He expressed confidence.
I mean, you got people who are excited about Tyson, older generations, even newer generations who are excited to see him, and people who, used to watch TV and used to watch all this stuff are going to be reliving that moment. And then all the new people, the kids who watch YouTube and stuff who are excited about Jake Paul, are going to be watching. You got so much there, and Netflix is one of the most popular streaming services of all time. So yeah, it's gonna be a massive success. It's gonna be huge. I mean, this is probably gonna be one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing that Netflix has ever put out. I almost guarantee it. I almost guarantee it.
That the fight would be more than a spectacle, as it held real weight in terms of both fighters' professional records, promising a high-stakes battle rather than a mere exhibition.
I think this fight is going to be a real full-bore 100% fight. It's not even an exhibition. It counts on their professional record, so it's a professional fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is it 8 rounds?
8 2-minute rounds.
Yeah. They made it 2-minute rounds because Tyson's
Wow.
old.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you...
Okay, I guess bottom line is, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited about this? Are you guys aggravated about this? Do you even want it to happen? Do you not want it to happen? Let me know in the comment section down below. Again, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can hit a goal today. Would be awesome. We probably won't hit it, but if we do, I would be so much appreciated, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Please do take care.
card who can't speak, hot answers through. You won't be mended.